Hi all! Everything in my video is pulled from the public domain, and I am using them under the Fair Use, Fair Dealings guidelines. Everything I say is my own opinion. You should look into this information for yourselves, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Good morning, everybody. All right. Today's video is going to be way shorter than yesterday's 32-minute long video. Yeah, it was just crazy. There was just so much information. The video just kept getting longer and longer. I'm really going to try not to do that today. All right, the picture you're looking at today is what the Andromeda galaxy would look like from Earth if it was just a little brighter. How pretty would it be? That's exactly what you would see if it was brightened up. It's there. You just can't see it, but I love that photo. Alrighty, you know what we're going to do. Let's jump in with both feet and get started, shall we? Let's go. All right, here we go. Lady Louise and James, often referred to as the Queen's favorite grandchildren, children of Sophie and Edward, headed out to the Commonwealth Games. They were there to watch multiple events during the day. Nice to see them out and about. So when they showed up, the first thing that everybody seemed to notice, which this just goes to show you, the first thing everybody seemed to notice was the dress that Louise was wearing, because apparently the dress belonged to her mother. And there's a picture of Sophie wearing this dress years earlier, and here it is. Here is Sophie wearing the dress in 2015. And I love the fact that Louise is recycling some of her mother's clothing. We also saw that during the Platinum Jubilee when she wore that hat. She wore this really cute hat, and come to find out it was a recycle from her mom. Okay, so they both looked great. They went in and they were watching the games. Let me just also throw in there, I think Louise is lucky, or Sophie's lucky, that they're the exact same size, it appears, same height, and I believe Louise is done growing, so yeah, they can share clothes. Okay, so anyway, the first thing they went in to watch was, I believe, was Badminton, and this was very stressful. If you look at Sophie on the right, like the woman's having a cow. She's like totally into this, and oh my God, what's happening? The stress in her face, the hands on her head. I mean, even Edward and everybody else are reacting, but not like Sophie. She's like totally into this. Now, it's my understanding that after the badminton was over, they went to see something else. There was a lot of stuff going on, and they went from place to place during the day, and then they left because they had to come back in the evening for something completely different. I wish I could remember what this one was. I'm not sure. It wasn't the swimming, because that was later in the evening. But you see their seating positions have changed because they were at the next event. Okay, so then they go home, they change clothes, they come back, and it's time for swimming. They went to the Sandwell, I believe is how it's pronounced, Aquatic Center, where the Earl of Wessex, Edward, presented the medals in the men's 50-meter freestyle final. Always nice to see them out and about. You never really see Louise and the son. They're very private. They stay out of the limelight. So it's kind of nice little treat to see them. So here we are now. It's the next day, and the entire Wessex family has shown up to the Alexander Stadium. They're going to be watching some races and something called discus. I think that's isn't that where they swing around and throw the thing? See how far they can send it. Anyway, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm happy to see everybody out, about, and enjoying the Commonwealth Games, which shows such diversity of the different countries that are participating. It's a wonderful thing to see, truly. Yep, that's where they were. As soon as track ended, Sophie, Edward, and the kids went to watch hockey, and they apparently from these photos are just as passionate about hockey as they were about the badminton. I think that's absolutely fabulous. Now, for those who are not aware of it, Sophie, the Countess of Wessex, is patron to England hockey. So they went down to congratulate the team after the win against India. Fabulous. All right, these photos are not in any particular order. And I'm saying that because at first, Charlotte was sitting to the left of Catherine, And she's in all these pictures sitting to the left. And then at some point she moved over to where she was in between William and Catherine. She probably had a lot of questions, and so they just moved her right into the middle. Now, as you can also see from some of the photos, they were sitting with the Wessex family. Very nice to see everybody sitting together and getting along. That's how it should be. Now, let me just say, and I could be reaching here again, but I have a feeling that Charlotte is going to be like Catherine. She's going to be very sporty. She's probably swimming. We know she likes what we call soccer, they call football. She's probably getting tennis lessons. I just have a feeling she's going to be a lot like Catherine. And as I said before, you can see all the emotions in Charlotte's face. She's happy. She's not happy. Somebody didn't win. All right, moving on. Now, when they were done there, William, Catherine, and Charlotte then went to go watch the artistic gymnastics. Now, apparently, Charlotte said that gymnastics was her favorite sport, and I think she thoroughly enjoyed it if you go anywhere from these photos. It's great. All right, pronunciation. Here we go. As honorary royal colonel of the Royal Yeomanry, Princess Alexandra inspected the regiment as they paraded through Shrewsbury. 145 soldiers took part in the parade, which exercised their freedom of the town for the first time. Fabulous. All right, a quick update to my video from yesterday. Prince Charles is not going to be probed by the Charity Commission over the donation from the Bin Laden family because, again, as I explained to you yesterday, he ran it past the Foreign Office, he ran it past the Board of Trustees, he did everything above and, top board. So no, he's not getting in trouble for this. The optics don't look good, and of course we all know who leaked the story. Moving on. All right, just another update to a story I already told you about. Yes, Omid Scobie is going to do another sequel. It doesn't take a genius to figure out that Meghan Markle called him up and said, I need to refute what's in the Tom Bower book. I need you to do another book. I'll write you out whatever. You write it, and put it in the book for me. That's exactly what this is. Maybe he'll name the next book Finding Freebies, since now it's come out that she had her team call up all top designers and ask for free merchandise as goodwill offerings. Like, are you kidding? So I can't believe that anybody would be interested in this book, knowing, that essentially she's writing it. He's just a mouthpiece. And let us not forget that before it came spilling out that she'd helped with the book, her attorney cited inaccuracies in the book to prove that she didn't help with the book. And then it came spilling out that she did. There you go. Now, what I found interesting, knowing that she's contacted Omid Scobie, was this statement made by C. Crook 74. This person wrote, am I missing something? Is it Netflix and Spotify waiting for unique insight, deep access, and exclusive revelation content from Harry and Meghan for their multi-million advance payments? So now Omid Scobie's got the rights to that stuff? Yeah, you know what I think? And I've said it before. I think the Spotify deal is going down the tubes. I think the Netflix deal is going down the tubes. And so this is the only way they can speak out. All right, moving on. All right, next up, these stories are coming out. I told you that Harry's underwear is being auctioned off. And I have shown you in the past these photos of Harry. He's licking other men's chests. They're grabbing his chest. He's grabbing their chest. We've had these discussions before. He seems to be overly friendly with other men. Hands. He's holding their hands. He's putting his hands on their knees. We've all seen this. So you can imagine my shock when these stories were dug up from 2013, I believe it is, where Prince Harry apparently said that he might experiment with gay men if his current relationship wasn't going to work out. My goodness. Again, the internet never forgets. All right, do I think that was probably a tongue-in-cheek comment? Since I'm able to recognize those, I'm going to say yes, but he was slipped a phone number, apparently. But when these kinds of pictures come leaking out, you literally have to go, what? And then there's other stories come out about Harry planting kisses on other men while he's out drinking it up, boozing it up. Apparently, he was giving some guy kisses. right after buying, what do they call those? Jaeger bombs or something. Yeah, you're talking to somebody who usually doesn't drink alcohol. I'm afraid I'm not into all of that or the names. I mean, the guy he kissed was apparently very good looking, and apparently this took place right before he met Megan. Okay, moving on. Okay, this is an update to Miss Alexander, the young lady that was on Great Britain, Good Morning Great Britain, I think it was, with people I did not know and Angela Levin. And she called the book that Tom Bauer wrote, Revenge, petty. And she and I had some discussion back and forth. And that is what I want to show you. I initially told you guys she seemed like a lot of fun and I wanted to have a beer with her. I am retracting that statement. Let me show you why. So as I showed you yesterday, after she said, well, it's just petty, the fact that he brought up, what she said in the garden, that's just petty. And I pointed out that she glossed over the lie of being married in the garden. She did say it and it was a lie. Somebody else goes, give me receipts. And I'm like, there you go. The Archbishop of Canterbury came out with the actual wedding certificate proving where and when they were married, not to mention that the regulations or the laws set up, he would have been breaking the law if he'd married them in the backyard. So therefore, the whole thing was a lie. I also pointed out that she lied, Harry lied, no receipts for anything. Harry said he was cut off, but didn't mention the $3 million payment he got. And on and on and on. I just wish she would have read the book. So you guys can imagine where this went. So you guys know what the sugars do when this sort of stuff comes out. They immediately start talking about Andrew. They try to get you off of the Harry and Meghan thing. And they start talking about Andrew, which has nothing to do with Harry and Meghan. And again, we're off the Harry and Meghan train and we're on the Andrew train. And Miss Alexander decided to start insulting me. I have lack of standards. He also kept writing that the girl was 16 when we already know for a fact she was 17 and above the age of consent. Then she called me disgusting and stupid. And my response was I was surprised at her because she came across as such a well-educated and well-spoken person, and yet she's simply proven herself to be a member of the Sussex Squad, a mindless group of people that fall at Meghan's feet and believe every word out of her mouth. What a shame. So, to use her own words, while I stayed professional and simply put the facts up, she sounded angry, spiteful, and difficult. No, I don't wish to have a beer with her. Okay, moving on. Now, one of the things I'd like to add is from yesterday, where this young lady had said that none of the bullying claims had ever been proven. And, you never hear, ideas about it. And we know that Sunshine Sachs put out statements saying that she had been vindicated. She had not been vindicated. So I'm just going to point this out. Number one, when the initial claims came out and that gentleman went on TV and talked about the claims, Meghan didn't sue. The palace did the investigation and has not released the claims. And Meghan, who's very litigious, has not pushed to have that report released. That tells you everything you need to know. All right, everybody. Now, this picture came out. Some other pictures also came out. I can't tell from this angle if that's Meghan Markle, and I wouldn't want to, take a guess if that's Meghan Markle, but there is one thing that kind of leads me in that direction. Take a look at the right hand. Take a close look. Does that look like the claw? Now, you have to wonder what's going on behind the scenes because this is absolutely true. It was said that Virginia Giuffre's lawyer wanted to bring Meghan in as a witness to Prince Andrew's trial. Why would that be? What information could she possibly have about being on a yacht? So you have to wonder if Andrew being told to pay that money, was it done to protect Meghan Markle as well as the crown? Just a thought. Why in the world were Virginia Giuffre's lawyers wanting Meghan Markle on the stand? And it wasn't long after that suggestion was made that the case was settled. Very interesting. All right, here we go. Another popular podcast has left Spotify. You gotta wonder what's going on. All these people are jumping ship. You have to wonder, what do they know that we don't? Not only did they lose The Nod, Reply All, a show called For Colored Nerds. They're losing a lot of really good content, but they're also losing higher ups. Matt Lieber, who was a Gimlet co-founder and who used to oversee Spotify Studios, left the company over the summer. Lydia Polgreen, the managing director, left the network for the New York Times. Courtney Holt, who used to oversee Spotify's original podcast strategies, left in April and is now in a year-long advisory role. There's something big happening. And I really like these two comments that are put up. One says it seems that somebody knows something is coming and it's a half-sinking ship and so they're running. And the other person pointed out that two things are true at once. Harry and Meghan don't have much in the pipeline and are floundering for content, and Spotify seems like they're being too picky with material apart from Joe Rogan. Very astute comments. Next up, let's just touch one more time on Dr. Shola. We know the race baiting. We know what goes on. Well, it got to the point where Calvin Robinson, we all know who he is, finally put up on Twitter, what do you like about the UK? And let me tell you, people were extremely vocal what they thought about her. She was given every opportunity under the sun by coming to the UK, and now that she's used the UK to get her education and get her foothold, now she's done nothing but slam it. I think people in the UK are about as sick of her as they are of Meghan Markle. All right, next up, do we remember what happened with Matt Lauer? Do we all remember that? He lost his job for sexually harassing people and abusing people. Anyway, come to find out, Meghan Markle was on, I guess they call it the promenade where you're outside, and she was out there with Matt Lauer. And there's some accusations that something might have happened. Now, here's my point about that. I could care less if something happened. Meghan Markle said that she didn't know anything about the tabloids. Do you guys remember that? Watch this.
You shouldn't do it, because the British tabloids will destroy your life. And I very naively, I'm American, we don't have that there. What are you talking about? That doesn't make any sense. I'm not in tabloids.
And she ended up in the tabloids. She was well aware of the tabloids. She was always trying to get in the tabloids. Yeah. Do I honestly think something happened between her and Matt? I'm going to say yes, not because of her, but because of him. He turned out to be a real lech who took advantage of a lot of women. I'm not saying he took advantage of Meghan Markle. I think she could handle herself. I'm just saying that if something happened, it was probably more on his side than her side, because the guy is like a total dog. All right, moving on. All right, Thomas Markle is back out. We've seen him for the first time on television. He looks like he's lost a great deal of weight. He probably has dysphagia. He probably has difficulty swallowing, which happens to people when they have strokes. But he wrote a message. He was able to do that. And I'm glad to see him. And I still think it's a shame that to this day, Meghan has not reached out to show her father that she cares. Compassion in action. All right, moving on to our last story. All right, this article came out, and after what happened with the young lady who was on Good Morning Britain, I decided to talk about this because basically what it brings up is Harry and Meghan keep getting caught out with the truth, because the one theme through their entire Oprah-filled interview was that it was the truth. Meghan kept saying, I think it's important for people to understand the truth, et cetera, et cetera. And then we found out that the things that they were saying were not the truth. We found out that after Harry said that his family cut him off financially, and I only have what my mom left me, and without that they wouldn't have been able to do this. We found out that the prince had been giving them like $1 million a month, and then gave them like a one-time sum of like $5 million. So they weren't just cut off financially. Right? I mean, that's just the way it is. Then in 2019, they put out that they decided not to have a title for their son because they wanted to give him a normal life. And then we found out later on that that wasn't true. They wanted a title for their son, but they wanted the prince title, and they rejected all the other titles that were handed to them. It's the way they twist the truth. You know, the whole thing about naming their daughter, they said we wouldn't have done it without the Queen's approval and blessing. But then we found out that they purchased the domain name before they spoke to the Queen. And now it's also come to light that he said, we'd like to name the baby after you, you know, Grandma. And Grandma said, well, that'll be nice. But he never said, we're going to use your nickname. And that whole debacle with the earrings that came from the Saudis who had just, you know, that journalist had just been murdered a few weeks earlier. And when she was asked about them, Meghan said, well, I borrowed them, which technically she did, but she was well aware of where they came from. I don't know. They were a gift, a wedding gift. But when she was told where they came from, they said that Meghan's royal minders were adamant that they made her aware of where they came from. But she didn't care. She wanted to wear them anyway. We already know about the whole backyard thing, and she tried to make it sound like she was a prisoner in the palace. She had to turn over her passport when she joined the family, and that was the last time she saw her passport. But in the meantime, she went to the Netherlands, Spain, Italy, and 2 trips to the United States. You know what I mean? No, she was not a prisoner. But because she's lied about so many things and it's been proven that the truth is a snare. That's what the article says. You can't have the truth in such a way that you can catch it, but only in a way that it catches you. Somebody may want to slap that on a bumper sticker in Montecito. Exactly. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I managed to stop this one before 30 minutes. How'd I do? Like I had to stop. Oh, okay. We're not going to go any longer. All right. So I want your comments. You know I want your comments. Leave them below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell to make sure that you receive notifications, okay? If you've already hit the button, double check and make sure you are still subscribed. That seems to be a big issue, all right? Don't forget you can follow me on Twitter, Getter, Rumble. You can email me. For those of you who've donated to my coffee fund and who have donated through the thanks button on my videos, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.